The Leg It podcast is sponsored by Montrex. Montrex is a cutting-edge sportswear brand empowering athletes across the world, built to enhance performance and give you confidence to go the extra mile. They've got some of the most incredible products at montrex.com. There is a link below this video. Click the link and at checkout, enter the code LEGIT for 15% off your order. That's LEGIT, all one word. Everything from jackets, cargo pants, gym tops, t-shirts, running jackets, running pants. Everything is on their website, and they sponsor some of the most incredible athletes. Everything from UFC fighter Leon Edwards and a good friend of the podcast, boxer Jazza Dickens. So click the link below, use the code LEGIT at checkout for 15% off your order.
Right, welcome to the Leg It podcast. It's me, Jordan Neild.
It's me, Andy Grant, and this week's guest is John Culshaw.
Hello, mate, okay.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
Mate, I feel like I'm in the presence of bloody Van Gogh.
Scouse Van Gogh.
The Scouse Van Gogh.
My cousin calls me Van Gogh.
Does he, yeah?
Oh, really?
There's the title already.
There you go, Scouse Van Gogh. Mate, before we get into it, big thanks to Montrex, our sponsors. They've been supporting the show for a while now. If you want any Montrex gear, go onto their website, make sure you're following them on Instagram and type in Leggy at checkout for 15% off. Sorry to interrupt you, but you quickly just shut that window.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyone who's listening, it is a sweltering pot in this office, so we've had the window open trying to air it. But now it's a bit quieter.
More professional.
Much more professional. Cheers, George. Yeah, so John, mate, thank you very much, mate. Scouse Van Gogh, like we said. Mate, how'd you get into this? How did you realise you got a talent? Is it in school where you just like drawing? What was it?
Well, yeah, when I was in school, obviously I always liked drawing, so I mean, I didn't do any schoolwork. They gave me a book and told me to do maths, I'd draw a picture in it. And they gave me a book and told me to do English, I'd draw a picture in it. You know what I mean? So I didn't really do nothing at school. And I left school, no qualifications or nothing. But obviously after that, no one thinks you can be an artist. No, not as a job. You don't think, yeah, I'm gonna go into art, mate. I thought you had to do like uni and all things like that. So after school, I never really done nothing. Didn't do nothing for about 15 years or something. And then where I was working up in Manchester, and they put like a little company newsletter out. So I was decorating at this time. They put a little company newsletter out saying, does anyone know any artists who can go over some graffiti on the back wall? And I was, I'm an artist. I was like stuck my hand up. Yeah, I'm an artist. I can do that. And she says, oh well, put a design together. And we'll see if who gets the thing, because they went to see some other artists. So I put a design together, I draw it all up on paper, and all these other artists have done it on like iPads and put it all together, all professional and that. And I just draw the piece of paper and draw it on, and they picked my design. And so I had Sam, and they gave me the job anyway. And it took me like 3 days, and I got about $3,500. I thought, so after that I thought, I'll have a little go.
It's just gone on.
Yes, I'm going, I'm getting better and better, and it got to the point where like me decorating was getting in the way of my artwork, do you know what I mean? So I thought, you know what, I'll swerve to decorating and I'll have a proper go at this, see if it works out. And if it doesn't, I'll just go back to decorating. But luckily enough, I thought I'll have a year, see if it works out after a year. It lasted about probably a month before I just had work coming in. You know what I mean? So I was made up, and it's still going like that now. I'm happy, you know what I mean? It's
such a like, as you say, art from where we're from and where we live. As you say, it's such a thing that feels out of reach, doesn't it? Like artists, you know, private school, all these people in like the upper echelons of society or whatever. And then, you come down to, like where we live and, the talent there to do that, mate, like.
Well, that's the thing, is that I really, honest to God, it went that I thought, maybe I could have a go at this. It just wasn't an option. I thought, see, people don't do art. You be a decorator, or you be a bricklayer, or you do something, and you get a job. Only when I got a little bit older, I thought, I'm just going to have a little go. And then realised how many people, because it's sort of something that I'd kept quiet a bit, do you know what I mean? Because I didn't used to tell no one like drawing or nothing like that. I'd just do it when I was at home, or I'd do it for myself. And then sort of like, had a little go, and then sort of told people this is what I'm going to start doing, and every single person was like, it's right, I'll get on that, yeah. And then the better you're doing, you realise everyone's just made up for you. Everyone's happy that you're doing well.
You know what that reminds me of? Like, we had Jamie Webster on the pod, and he said the exact same thing. He said, he was going to match and, you know, singing songs and stuff, and he was a bit scared to say to, like, the lads, I play the guitar, you know.
I really like this, you know what I mean?
And he said I had the same response. Everyone was like, lad, fucking hell, lad, like, get up, have a go.
I think that's the point, like, I'm trying to make. It's like, these careers are sort of put out to people in, like, a certain demographic, do you know what I mean? Whereas anyone can do it, and, like, anyone who's got the talent, do you know what I mean? But you have them barriers of, should I tell the lads? Or should I say in the boozer that I'm a really good drawer, or I'm really good in the guitar, do you know what I mean? But and once you say it, the world just opens
up. I think
up.
Where we're from, and whether it's politically correct to say this word or not, don't mean to offend anyone. When I was growing up, if you liked, again, judge me for where I'm from, but if you like drawing or this and that, the response you got was, lad, you're gay. That's gay. That's gay. And
look at him, makes it himself.
That's what you got though, like growing up. So you.
I don't know. I've done the same to my mates when they started to do something. You know what I mean? But if they really, it's just banter. You know,
of course,
If they really did do something, obviously you're behind them, and that's what you get.
It's like full circle, though, isn't it? Now where you're in a point now where, you know, your passion has become your job, and you're like as someone who's standing there and be doing it. You can say to people, do you know what I mean? Like, that passion you have got, or, you know, if you think you're just doodling in class, you actually might not be. Do you know what I mean? That could be your career.
No, obviously, because if you enjoy something, doesn't matter what it is, if you enjoy it, then you're going to be good at it. And if that's is a job prospect, and at the minute everything's a job prospect, you can earn money from anything. But if you really enjoy something, you will be good at it. And if you just keep on doing it, you'll earn a lot of it.
That's the thing with social media now. It's opened up so many different businesses that you didn't even think could be businesses.
You don't just have to be. It's not just a 9 to 5 anymore, is it? Do you know what I mean? And that's, you know, you're not encouraged. Not everyone's encouraged now to be like, go and get that secure job and that. And there's so many more risks you can take now, and they seem to pay off.
When you say you were just doodling in class or maybe at home and stuff, did you kind of think, nah, I'm all right here, or did you get a feeling?
I was better than the other kids, but I wouldn't say I was good. I wouldn't say no one stopped and goes like, you need to start doing this properly, you know what I mean? I weren't that good, but like I said, the only thing was that I enjoyed it. So when I seen I'd done something wrong, I think, oh well, next time I know where I've gone wrong there, and next time I'll do this a little bit better. And now I'm just doing the exact same thing. It's just getting better and better and better, because I know where I've gone wrong and I know what to fix next time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate.
At what point did it become like from like I just like drawing to like that? Like, it's me craft. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm really, you know, I want to fix my mistakes, and I want to, like, you know, I want to get perfect with it.
I think I've always wanted to be perfect. You're always looking at, because there's, especially with things like Instagram and that now, there's always people out there doing stuff you think, oh, wow, get on that. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter how good I'm getting, there's always someone a little bit better that I can think, right, I need to get to that level now, and I need to get to that level now. And I think as soon as you stop pushing, as soon as you think that, right, I'm good enough now, then you might as well fuck it off, because you've got stale. Do you know what I mean?
I always say the saying, lad, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change rooms. Life's all about surrounding yourself by people who are on the next level. And by surrounding yourself by, you go, I want to get as good as that. And when you get there, you go, I want to be as good as that. Just always pushing yourself.
Well, that's what it is. I think as soon as you're not learning, then you've gone stale, and you've got nothing to offer then, because you can only offer what you've already done. Do you know what I mean? So as soon as you're not moving forward, I start knocking on the head. Oh yeah, just go and find something else to do.
Mate, so going through school, you're like, you know, you're kind of better than most of the kids drawing and stuff like that. Or you obviously had an accident as a child.
Yeah, when I was 9, got hit by a car when I was 9. Broke nearly every bone in my body, do you know what I mean? Broke both my legs, both my arms, smashed all my hip and that. And I snapped all the nerves in this arm, so that arm doesn't work no more, do you know what I mean? I've only got one arm now.
What, just complete nerve damage or?
It's called a brachial plexus injury. It's sort of the nerves that control your right arm. They all just got plucked out of the spine, do you know what I mean? And I had an operation to go and fix it down in London. And probably if you had that accident now, they probably just fix it, do you know what I mean? They got the technology in it. But this was in 96. They never had it then. This is like no one had ever done this operation before. I was like the guinea pig for it. So I went down to London and I had to go. And to be fair, the operation worked and the nerves started growing back. And I think what it was is, you know, because I was a kid, and when you're a kid, you want to play out, don't you? You don't want to sit at home doing exercises and building your arm back. I didn't give a shit. We're an arse, do you know what I mean? I was still fucking climbing on roofs and stuff. So it didn't bother me, so I just fucking my mum say, you need to be doing your exercise, you need to be doing that. I go, yeah, alright, Sam, I'll be off out. And now I'm thinking back, thinking, what about that? About 2 hours now.
Should have just done rehab.
About 2 hours.
I love that though, because it's that like, it's the kid thing, isn't it? Like, obviously you go through something traumatic that we would say traumatic as an adult, but as a kid you're just like, fucking upset.
Yeah, do you want to get your arm back? I want to go and play on the park. Want to go and play on the park?
The lads are already out, come on.
It's what you say there about if it's happened now, the same thing, not to bring back to me, but with my injury, they were like, if this had happened to you like a year ago, you wouldn't have survived, because the medical advances all the time, what they can do now compared to like 10 years ago, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad, yeah.
So as you sort of grow, like obviously into a young lad, does it ever sort of occur to you that, like, you know, does it ever hold you back, or is it more? Yeah, is it like the accent is just?
To be honest with you, no. Obviously, you get to an age and you're like, you know, kids are looking at you and that, you know what I mean? But that doesn't bother me, no. I don't know what I can't remember what it was like having 2 arms.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, you know, because I'm painting and I'm spraying and stuff, and then they see the arm, and go, oh my God, you done that with 1 arm? I'm thinking, it doesn't take 2 arms to spray it in the spray paint. And it's just proper patronising. Yeah. And well, obviously I don't say it, I go, oh yeah, thanks, you know.
Yeah.
But you're thinking, it's sort of like they're going, good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 1 arm, I don't need 2 arms to spray this. Obviously sometimes I'm ladders and that, you do need the 2 arms. But usually it's just, you don't use 1 arm to do it anyway.
Yeah, mate, your humour with it is just like, it's just so
imagine, God, you've been thrown with 1 arm, well, yes, why do you normally throw with 2?
That's more of a talent, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know with 2.
Some things you do them like that. Before this I was a decorator and I used to put wallpaper up with 1 arm. That was impressive, you know what I mean? I can carry 2 pints of lager with 1 hand. That's impressive. Well, using spray paint, you don't use 1 arm for that anyway.
No, it's funny, lad, I feel like already with your humour, I can say like some of the humour we had in the military, obviously, and it was so funny. I mean, mate had lost an arm there, he was lost an arm and a leg, and we were there in a restaurant once, and this poor waitress come out, she was like 16 or 17 or something, and she was like, oh, do you want it? And we ordered our food, and he was like, yeah, have you got some chicken dippers as well? Just started like waving a stump in the air. This poor girl didn't know where to look. She was like, hey. She's like, do you really want them? Or do you like...
I think that's that sort of confidence in it, do you know what I mean? Like within yourself, it's just so funny, like, it's brilliant.
Did it take you long to accept it, like, did it, your injury and stuff?
I can't remember ever having to get med around it, to be honest with you. So I remember I was in Aussie for about a month or 2 months or something. I was in Aussie for a good while, as a kid, and that's a long time for a kid. So I'm probably, by the time I got out, I was just thinking, just get me out, just go home, see my mates and that, do you know what I mean?
It's the resolve of a child though, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, you say it now, like, I've got my own kids and stuff, like, the kids can adapt to anything, absolutely anything, and like, it's only when you get older and you start sort of weighing up risk, reward, this could go wrong, or this and that, and but when you're a kid, you just sort of, like, that's happened, okay, no problem, I'm just going to crack on. You don't think like that, but that's what you do, don't you? And I think that's just...
Yeah, and it does say, because I don't moan about it, doesn't say I don't play on it. I'll be birds asking for a cup of tea, and go, I've got 1 arm, you know? I'll still throw it in there if I need to.
All the time, lad, all the time.
Use it to your advantage.
As soon as in the evenings my leg gets taken off, and I'm like, you know, as soon as I know there's any chores to be done, I took my leg off now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's shocking, that.
Always, lad, always.
My bed be going, yeah, well, you get a fucking adapter for that for the Uber. Push it down with your leg.
Yeah. Did you get any? Have you in airports? Like that is just my first thing on the list. Wear shorts when you go to the airport. Yeah. Because you just never know what upgrades you're gonna get. I've had loads of upgrades on it just by playing on it. No,
do you know what? It's not noticeable enough. I don't think no one's ever.
I'd be walking around with a t-shirt on saying I've got 1 arm.
I was like, you gotta start wearing it inside t-shirt. Just on it, flopping down,
I'm just going on Aldi with yous now.
I remember we were on Aldi last year in Spain, and we was on, went to like a fucking theme park or whatever, and I was sitting next to some woman, there's like a bit of a space between us, and it's one of them up and down, and I don't know, so I've got old, with my good arm obviously, and I didn't know that my other arm, she's sitting there, and I sort of just flopping up, when we're going over these big hills, and the gravity's taking in, it's sort of just flopping up, this woman's like this, flopping up on my face. I didn't get onto it until you get off, and you see, the cameras, and I took pictures of it, and I was like this, flopping on his face. I go, oh, no,
brilliant. That is brilliant.
You've only just reminded me of that.
I love all those stories. It was a great time.
Comedy, that.
You know what I always feel though? I feel sorry for you, for like people like, as in civilians who've been through injuries like that, because, you know, you will have went through that on your own, as in, I'm guessing there was no other kids or who'd been through your injury. When I got injured, there was loads of us.
Yeah, all,
so it was great. Like, the laughs we'd have, because we were all in it together.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will message me, civilians, and say like, oh, you know, how did you recover and things like that. And for me, like the way you were saying about being a kid, it was easy maybe for you because you were a kid, and it was easy for me because I was just surrounded by everyone, so I didn't really know any different. It was just like, oh, well, there's everyone. There's Bish, he's got no legs, and he's got one arm and one leg, and he's got no... And so you got used to it by your surroundings a lot easier, do you know what I mean?
It's that thing, like, you know, my granddad always makes the joke where it's like, people always go on, oh, we had to warm our dinner by the fire. People go, oh, you had the fire? You know, it's one of them things.
Yeah.
So
You can choose.
Oh, you've got another leg, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's how you choose to look at it, isn't it? I think that's what it comes down to. Like, you can either look and be like, this is regardless of the situation. You can either be like down on it, or you can say this is a disadvantage, or you can go, actually, well, at least I've got this, or at least I've got that.
You can moan and cry about it, and then at the end of the day, you still have one arm. So
it's all about the way.
It's not going to get you nowhere, don't you? So might as well just get on with whatever you can do.
So you like your career then, obviously, as a painter and decorator, are you sort of like, I don't know, are you like happy set with that, and you sort of, you know, you're happy doing that?
Yeah,
and
that's like I said, when I went over to my arse, when I thought, if it doesn't work out, I can just go back to that and live happy.
When you say painter and decorator, what, just wallpapering, just painting walls and houses? And
yeah, houses, yeah, it's going on. I was just doing... And I started... When I started my art, what it was, right, I'd done that thing, so then I went home and I painted like Spider-Man on my little boy's bedroom. And I thought, that'll get me decorating work, that. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, if I start doing kids' bedrooms, then I'll get to decorate the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Thinking it'll just get me some work. Yeah. So I started putting that out there. And like I said, in the end, there was so many people asking for the artwork that I was thinking, I haven't got time to decorate the rest of the house. So I'm going to have to just like, I had to start knocking the decorating work on the head and just focus just on the artwork then. Like I said, and then it got bigger, so I started doing gyms and bars and just big walls like that. To the point where I don't really do the bedrooms anymore. So it's just growing and growing and growing.
It's mad to think that your hobby, your passion, has turned into like a full-time business now.
Yeah.
And it's on such a scale as well, because like, you know, them sort of, I know you like do the walls and that, and I'm guessing that's super rewarding when you see a kid who's like, oh my god, Spider-Man, but what you're doing with the murals and stuff, they're projects, aren't like that's a serious scale.
And it's like impacting at people's memory of a city.
Yeah.
You know, there's people now who will come to Liverpool, get a photo next to some of your artwork, and that'll be on their, like, you know, the new Facebook profile picture. You know, someone from bloody China or America or something has like got your work on there, like.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
To think of it like that, it's a bit mad.
Yeah, it is mad, yeah. I don't really think of it. To be honest with you, I haven't had time to think about nothing. I'm just always trying to move on to the next thing, like I said, and luckily for me, it's grown, but I also put that down to where we grew up, because I meet a lot of other artists, and their mates are artists, and their mates are all from a big art community. So if someone says to them, oh, I need this doing, or I need that doing, they'll go, I'll do it. And they'll go, I'll do it. But if someone says, I need this doing, it's one of my mates, they go, Cully will do that. And so they'll ring me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got like a big network of people that all know me as the artist, so they'll all give me the work. Whereas I come from an art background, you don't get the work because all your mates are already artists and they'll do the work when they get it, and so you've got to find your own work. So that's been lucky for me. That's been why I've gone so fast.
I love the like
very modest as well.
Yeah, I love how we speak about it on the pod loads, but the close knit thing of like, Cully will do it. Do you know what I mean? I hope that never like dies from our society, because it's just bossing it.
Yeah, and I think in Liverpool we've had podcast guests as well who like message and go, oh lad, would you get these on? I'll get the, and it's that helping each other out. I think Scouts is just, you know,
it's definitely a Liverpool thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because my mate who, like say, who I work with, he's from Brazil, so he doesn't really know any other cities, so he loves Liverpool. And then I tell him about it, it's not like that down south, it's not like this, you know what I mean? So when he goes and visits them place, he comes back and goes, you're right, it's not, you know what I mean? He says, it's not like that.
Yeah. Mate, when did you feel things started to like what was your first big project where you thought this is starting to shift a bit? This isn't like kind of the kids' bedrooms anymore. This is getting a bit silly. This now.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I painted probably about 2 years ago now. I painted Jurgen Klopp up by Anfield.
On the sanding.
On the other, yeah, up opposite the sanding.
Yeah.
On his Klopp's boot room or something.
That's it. Yeah.
But I didn't get paid for that. No one paid me to do that. I spoke to one of my mates who was like out of the fan club and said, listen, do you reckon you can get me a wall by Anfield? I said, Klopp. You had the feeling Klopp was going to do it this season. He did. Do you know what I mean? If he's going to do it this season, I'm going to paint Klopp somewhere. And said, so he rang down his mates and went, listen, I've got your wall there. Do you want to go and paint on it? They thought I was going to do some little thing. And I went, yeah. So he went, go on, what do you want? They had all like big windows on it. And I went, oh, do you know what, mate? It's alright if I board your windows up. And he went, yeah, wet son. So I went to got some boards, boarded all the windows up, and painted it that big. He was made up, do you know what I mean?
It's all that, just a belter.
Up until that point, I'd never done no like photorealism, I'd never done nothing like that. That was just me again thinking, right, come on, have a little go with this. And if it doesn't work, I'm asked. You know what I mean? But I threw it on and I thought, wow, you know when like you made up yourself? Like a little cheesy on.
Wait, I get made up myself when I cook bacon to like the way I want it. Not in a big like massive year.
When I do a fried egg lad and it's not burnt, I'm like, get in.
Yeah. Don't just stand back and go, wow, not bad that.
So after that, like I said, pretty much as soon as I finished that, the work didn't stop. I was still working in Manchester at that time.
Doing the painting and decorating?
Doing the decorating, so I was still a decorator when I done that. And then that was when I just started getting more calls and I could really handle with my work. So that was when I thought, you know what, straight after work, I'll do this.
Do you know that, like, so for example, obviously you said you sort of went in on that a bit blind, but when you go and do like a big project now, what's the process of like, you know, taking a picture and then putting it on that scale, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I use a doodle grid, mate. So sort of, I'll get a tin of spray paint, just make a big mess all over the wall, write a load of stuff in squares and triangles, whatever, just as long as there's crap on the wall. Then take a picture of it, and then I get my image, and I overlay my image on it, so you can see the mess coming through. And so that's how you know, sort of, say you write the sanding like I did on this one. His eye goes on the S there, and then his nose is a bit underneath on that little triangle, do you know what I mean? So it's just loads of little points of reference, so you know where everything goes. Once you've got your sketch on where the eyes and the nose and where the shadows go, then you cover that over, and it's basically just coloured in then, because you've got all your marks on. It's
definitely not as easy as you've just made it sound.
It's just coloured in.
I'll be going to my daughter tomorrow. Look, when you do this, we just make a bit of a mess here. And
what you do, you've got loads of shit. That's what fascinates me, like the intricacies of it, because like, and you are very modest with sort of your talent and what you can do, but the process I think of taking, for example, the Gerrard thing, it's such a well-known picture, and then being able to like transport that from, you know, a piece of paper to that wall, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing every wall's different and stuff like.
Yeah, well, like I said, that sanding wall it's a terrible wall to paint on because it's old brick. It's a proper old pub, so painting on bricks, because it's so textured, is a nightmare. But they're textured bricks on top of it, having the mortar in between and everything, so that you can't really get no small details in because there's so many crevices and stuff and shadows on it. So all the details sort of have to be bigger. So I painted that Gerrard piece on a flat wall. It'd have been 10 times better. But I was still happy with the way it came out, you know what I mean? It still looked good. But like I say, everyone else is looking at it thinking, wow, that's amazing. But I'm looking at it, fucking wish that wall was flat. And all that big shit. I'm still looking at it thinking, I could change that there and we could do that, you know what I mean?
Have there been any gigs then where someone said to you, can you do this? And you've like, no, it'll look crap type. For a stupid example, but I know barbers where if someone's ever got a bad haircut and they go in the barbers, they go, I'm not touching you because it'll look like I've made your haircut shit. So has someone said like, do this, and there's a shit wall and you've been like, I've done
loads of things like, and then of every job I go on, I'm always trying to push, you want to do this will look good, and most of the time they'll go, oh no, can I just have a black and white face? Yeah, sounds good. But I'm always trying to push what I think will look good on their wall, but they have their own ideas, so you can't tell somebody, do you know what I mean? You can try and persuade them, you can't tell them, no, you don't want that, you want this. So if they want it, they can have it, they're paying, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's loads of things where I've said to them, it'll look shit, I'll do it, but it'll look shit if it's not going to look good. Especially things like, a lot of people ask me to do like sign writing, and that sign writing's a different type of art. It's a technique, and you've got to take a lot of time on it.
What you mean, like sign?
Like making signs, or signs for shops and stuff.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have signage. These are painters. They have special brushes and that, and use special paints, and everything's very precise, and they look boss. You know what I mean? People ask me to do it. I could spend all day doing it, or a week, or whatever, or however long it takes. But I'm not gonna. I just use the spray paint. I want everything to be done fast, mate. So I say to them, listen, you best go and get a sign out there. But I always say to them, here's my price. If you want me to do it, here's my price. I'll do it for you. But that guy over there, he'll be better. Because I'm not about trying to take everyone's work. Because I think if everybody in Liverpool came to me for the work and it's just John Culshaw, then people just get bored of John Culshaw and I'd be out of work in a year. But if all the artists all round and there's something different on every corner from everyone, then that'll keep me in work for fucking I don't know how long.
Different styles and themes,
different styles, so then people aren't getting bored of my stuff.
I guess it keeps you honest as well, right? Like if you see things popping up, and you look at it as an artist and go, that's brilliant, and then you go, right, so my techniques are now, I'm going to get better, do you know what I mean? I'm going to keep pushing. Not
even just better, you see things and think, wow, that's fantastic, I'm going to have a go with that. And then you use that little technique what you've seen them using, that little technique you've seen this person using, you just come on with your own little style, do you know what I mean? That's how you grow as an artist. It's fascinating, mate. Like I love like creatives, so I do a bit of writing anyway, but and my mind is always like the creative mind for me is just fascinating, do you know what I mean? Like how you can sort of, and that's what I was saying about processes and stuff before, like, but I think all creatives are the same in terms of like, they don't see people as competition, you see people as, that's cool, do you know what I mean? Like, I could do that. It's not like, I'm better than this, or he shouldn't do that, it's more like,
it's inspired me to have a go with something else.
I can do that, do you know what I mean? I think that's fascinating.
Liverpool's full of creatives as well, always has been, you know what I mean? So there's always people writing songs and, and painting and doing all that type of stuff. I think it's the working classes where creativity comes from, do you know what I mean?
Goes back to what we were saying before, when we were saying earlier about art being an upper class thing, when in reality, art at its core is probably a working class thing, because, you know, if you look at it, not all of them, but majority of famous creatives, like a lot of them will come from fuck all, because they have so much sort of time to think and to mould themselves, and like it sometimes gets overlooked, doesn't it? There's probably kids and, you know, women, men in the city now who are brilliant creatives, but it's just being drowned out of them. It's just being, you know, get put in a box, and, you know, they might get the guitar out when they're bladdered, or they might write a song but never show anyone. That's sad, really.
It is,
and that's why it's good to see somebody like you.
Especially with music, there's always been loads of brilliant musicians in Liverpool, and still is. And it's just about getting out there and having a go, innit?
I love that, you know, like in Liverpool pubs, when you, like my uncles and stuff do it, and like, you know what, he's brilliant, and you get the guitar out and they are brilliant, and you just think like, why didn't that go further, do you know what I mean? But I think obviously to see someone like you who's you know, took your talent and ran with it, it's great to see, it's like refreshing.
Mate, going back to your injury as well, do you think that in a weird way, because I always think like my leg, it's given me so many advantages, do you think, even though people look at it in sometimes in a negative way, a bit condescending, oh wow, has it kind of helped you at work, do you think?
Definitely, it's helped me loads. Only because art, as a process, art is knowing the process, knowing the layers that go first. I need to get my base on, I need to get this on, blah, 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 blah. And my everyday life is just, if I'm carrying a fucking drink from the kitchen, I need to know how I'm going to open that door. Because I've got a drink in my hand or whatever, do you know what I mean? And there's loads of things that, not that I do it, I don't actually think that in my head, but my head's working overtime, solving problems that other people aren't solving. So when I'm coming to see a big wall and I'm thinking, my head's already solving that problem, how am I going to get that on there, blah, 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 do you know what I mean?
It's interesting, yeah.
But yeah, I've always thought that definitely has helped me.
Do you think it's helped you in people wanting, because of being inspired as well? Because again, I know you don't think it, you get a bit winded up. I
don't never bring it up. Most people didn't know that I was disabled until after the job's already done, do you know what I mean? It's never been like a big thing for me. Yeah, no, I know you like you say, it piss you off, but I've had it in jobs where I'm coming in to do motivational talk about being like the fastest amputee in the world, and again, people are only being nice, but I've come in and they're like, are you okay with the stairs? And I'm like, fucking hell, I don't want to tell you a story about how I'm faster than everyone in this room.
I'll beat you up them stairs.
Do you know what I mean? And it's okay with the stairs. So I just mean as anyone, like, but yeah, I suppose, like you said before, you got to make it work in your favour, haven't you, and stuff. And like, one thing I'm fascinated in, a bit like lower the tone, well not lower the tone, but it's a bit of a taboo subject, is when you take something you're passionate about and you love doing, but then it becomes business and money's involved and stuff, because working for yourself, like I do with the motivational speaking, I've got now Jordan does all that for me, and it's better for me, but when I first started out, it's so awkward, like naming prices. And I think, again, being from Bootle, you know, a motivational speaker from Bootle, how much do you charge? I don't know another motivational speaker from Bootle to go and say, hey, how much did you charge that school or this business? So it was all a very much of, you know, suck it and see type thing. How have you even...
Exactly the same way. That's exactly how I've done it. I just thought... I basically just think, what am I happy with? You know, what am I happy to come home at the end of the week with? And to be fair, my prices are lower than anyone else's. I know they are, but I don't give a shit. I'm not asked, because I'm still coming home. I've got a boss family. I don't need to be a bad, mad workaholic. I've got a boss family. As long as I'm coming home, we're all happy and I've got a decent wage in my bank. What more do you? I don't need no more than that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's winning, isn't it?
That's a boss way to look at it, lad, yeah.
But I think what he's saying is right, like, have you ever felt sort of like...
Take this jacket off.
Go for it.
Of course, lad, yeah. For anyone who's just listening and not on YouTube, it's like a sweat box me when it's nice weather.
We've got a serious issue with the heat. But yeah, so sort of like, have you ever got to a point where you're like, sort of, I just love doing this, and then you sort of don't like the business side of it, or?
I've always separated the two anyway. So like I say, when I'm doing the gyms and the bars and the kids' bedrooms, I don't really see that as art. It's not art. Dave said, can I have this? And I've said, yeah, I know how to put that on the wall. Art, creativity, art's getting what's in your brain out onto a wall, in my case, you know what I mean? That's art. What I do is not really art. I've got pieces of art around the city where no one's paid me to do it. I've just gone off my own back and it's come out of my own pocket, but I wanted to put something up, do you know what I mean? The rest of it is just work for me. That's the way I've always looked at it, and like I said, and if it dries up, I'll go back to decorating. I'll still carry on doing my art, but it'll just be a different type of work if this dries up.
Listening to you now though, mate, and this isn't me trying to give you any advice on it, but like, you are so humble with it. I'd get the feeling like, I'm not saying you have, but like, because you're doing it for the love of it, it's like people never taking advantage of it like that. Because I think with me, with the speaking, it's like people go, and I'm like, well, it's still a living for me though, do you know what I mean, and all that. And I have been taken advantage of sometimes, and I just think for someone with a humble background like yourself, coming from the likes of areas we've come from, but then having such a talent, sometimes I get fucking pissed off with it, do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it is your talent and you are fucking really good at it.
Don't get me wrong, when I say I want a good wage, I want a good wage. That's what I mean. I want a decent wage.
So you should be, lad.
I'm not on Brewster's, but I'm on a decent wage, and like I said, when it gets to the point where people are paying me to produce my own work, that's where the money will come in. But like I say, at the minute, if I'm working for bars and I'm working in people's houses or in a gym, that's the time we're living in now is everyone works for themselves. So if you go to a gym, it's your mate's gym, he's just opened that. And you know he's not a fucking millionaire, he's not a company, he's a lad. So obviously there's going to be a ceiling to what he can't afford. And I'm not going to say to him, well, he can't afford me, mate. Don't want to mean. Yeah. I'll do it for him. I'm getting a good wage because people, especially when I was saying about that grid, people shit themselves when they see that, you know, when I'm working and squirt all stuff over it, because they've paid out of their own pocket a good chunk of change, you know what I mean, to me. And then they see me squirting all shite on the wall and think, oh, what have I done here? What have I given him money for? You know what I mean?
Didn't know the triangles.
It's going to be alright, trust me, yeah. But yeah, it's, like I said, once I start working for companies and things like that, and I have done, and they've paid well, but until then, I'm happy with what I've got on that.
Do you feel like you're still sort of early then in like your, don't know, like your career, like your progression as an artist? Do you still feel like you're at the, you know, you're at an early stage where, you know, there's massive ceiling to this?
I feel like I'm right at the beginning, me. I feel like it, you know, so you're about to take off. I feel like I'm just there on that little
boards of the plane, lad.
Just about to take off there. I feel like that's where I am. Like I said, when I start off first, I'll give myself a year before I make anything. And that didn't happen. Obviously, I started working, but that sort of hindered the art side of things. Because what I wanted to do is see if I can get some work in this month. And at the end of every month, I'm going to do my own piece and grow my own name and be my own artist. But when there's jobs there, when there's people there saying there's a paid job, and you don't know whether next month you're going to get any paid jobs, you don't say no, you just say yeah. And that's why it's been like 3 years now and I've got about 6 pieces of my own work about. I go to like some of these art festivals and that, and you get to put your own piece up there, but it's not quite the same. I haven't put me art and soul into it. That's just more like fun about meet other artists and have a little laugh and paint something and that. Do you know what I mean?
When you say your own work, as in what, like, as in you just go and ask someone, can I put my work on your wall, or you mean drawing it on paper, or what?
Yeah, I mean like going finding my own wall and getting my own design, what I want to get out, and just painting it onto a wall.
I'll tell you what, lad, you'd be made up if you owned a house and you come knocking and said, hey, do you mind if I do this?
When you say like your own piece, well, can that be for you? Can that be anything that's in your mind? Could it just be, you know, could it be John Lennon, or be, you know, a skyline, or what?
When I first started, it was always like John Lennon and the Beatles and football. It's a little bit different now. So I already have all the designs. I do sit at home and I do make designs, and I still draw and things like that. So I've got a load of ideas going on in my head. And it sounds daft because I always say, right, from now on I'm going to work 3 weeks of the month, and I'm going to do a week for myself. And I've been saying it for the last year. Do you know what I mean? I said, right, the next month I'm going to start doing a week for myself. And it's just that thing where you're always scared that it's not going to last, and it's all going to dry up. So I'll take everything I can now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to take some time off for yourself.
It's like,
do you still feel like it is? Sorry, mate. Do you still feel like it is like? Do you still have that feeling in the back of your head like this can't last, or this is too good to be like me drawing, or me being an artist is too good to be true? Do you know what I mean? I feel now. I definitely felt it for a while, but I feel now that there's longevity in it now. I feel like these are even if it's not the murals, do you know what I mean? Because if the arseholes are the murals, I feel like I've already built myself up enough of a name where I can just survive as an artist now and just selling prints and canvases and stuff.
But what you're saying, I see, like, just speaking to you this last however long it's been already, I see like loads of myself in you, in the sense of like the same area, but also the fact that you're kind of naive to maybe how good you are as well. I remember the first time I done a speaking gig for the first corporate gig, and they paid me by a cheque, and I couldn't fucking believe that this company had paid me. And I've got the photo on my phone, and I was like, I remember being in the Marines working 16-hour days, you know, for every single day, and getting paid fucking 600 quid. Yeah. And then for an hour's work, this company paid me this, and I was like, oh my, this can't last forever. This is fucking, someone's gonna burst me bubble in a minute. Do you know what I mean? And
you try and grab everything now.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, you know, and all that. And
it's definitely a process, that though. There's definitely a process of, you know, realising you're good at something, turning it into a business, and then I guess after 5-6 years, you hit a point where you're like, hang on a minute, I've done all of this. Do you know what I mean? You're now gonna respect me for doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think everyone who's a creative or everyone who's a business owner will go through that. It's a bit like the...
you get that imposter syndrome, don't you?
100%.
Massively, mate, 100%
Because it's like you were saying before about depreciating yourself, or not knowing quite how to sell yourself. Because to you, you're just you. You're the fella who just got in the shower, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're not like the entity of...
You're the fella who's going, babe, I've only got one arm, come on, what the hell?
Yeah, but until you get to a point where you start to respect your craft, basically.
Yeah. Mate, what, because you've done so many gigs, a few of the questions I put out at the Instagram thing, because people were like, what's been like your favourite one?
The bird on the side of the wedding house has been my favourite. It's not technically the best, but I've never worked on that scale before. It was massive, do you know what I mean? And like I said, that was another thing that was just off my own back there. So that weren't a paid job. Obviously, I didn't pay for it. The council paid for it. But I had no restrictions. You said, listen, I had to go and find my own wall. You said, here's money, go and paint something. And that's where I want to get to, where people are doing that to me. You know what I mean? Here's some money, go and paint something. Go and find the wall and paint it. Alright, sound good. You know what I mean?
So that was the council said they want something on, and...
Yeah, so it's like the Arts Council, and at the end of the year, whatever money they've got left in the budget, they have to get rid of it, or they're not going to get that same money next year. So they put a thing out saying any artists that want to do anything just for painting, as you know, if you're a musician, or there's like street artists and all sorts of things like that, you know, people who can juggle balls in Clayton Square or wherever they are. And they can all apply, and it was like you could get $5,000 out of this grant. So my mate about it, Liam, he's the Brazilian kid. He told me about it, and I said, well, tell you what, Liam, you apply for it, right, and I'll apply for it. And if one of us gets it, we'll split it. And if we both get it, we got fucking $10,000, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I never got it, he got it. You know what I mean? It's like, this was like a year ago now. So even up to that point I weren't where I am now, so I was still as even rawer than I am now then. So he's been doing it for about 15, 16 years. He knows how to put like a profile together and send it off, looking all professional. And I sent him some pictures off my iPhone. I said, I'm also painting the fucking, you know what I mean? Get some money.
Why do you want this grant? I'm not bad, you know.
Joe Anderson's like, nah lad, you're not painting that.
That's what I was for, right? That money, he's just took some pictures around the city, this kid. He's trying to get us to send him some fucking money. So I never got it, you know what I mean? He got it. I went, we said you're going to split it, didn't we? I remember we said we're going to split it. Nah, but he rang me and said, listen, I've got it. So we ended up getting the $5,000 and we ended up doing both sides of the wedding house with that $5,000. And I think we ended up putting money into it ourselves, you know what I mean? Because it cost Bruce, you have to get cherry pickers and all sorts of stuff.
How much does it cost? Does it cost a lot? Well, you meant like cans of, I mean, how much is, don't even know how much a can of spray paint is?
About $4.50 or something like that for a can. But like I say, for a big job like that, you're getting about 300 cans, you're getting loads. So
really?
Yeah, I don't know, I just made that up. But how many people? There was a lot of them. I never stick them all in the business card. Oh my god, look how many cans we've got. You know what I mean? There's a lot, just loads of cans. And then then you got to get the cherry pick, and then sometimes you got to ring the council. And if you need to use the road, you got to pay the council. And you got to pay. Like I say, by the end of it, you get that big chunk, or you tell you what they're going to pay you. And then by the end you've knocked everything off, you go, oh, how's it? And I was here 3 weeks as well, so you break that, and it's a weeks that you was there, you think...
Should go back to painting and decorating.
I'm not about the same as it was decorating.
Anyone need the bedroom to it? No, but is there anything like sort of, not to sort of pry into what you... Is there anything you want to do you know what I mean, in Liverpool? Is there anything you've got your eye on where you're like, you know, that's going to have my name on it?
There's loads of walls. I'm just driving around anyway, and it bores me bad to death, you know what I mean? Like, wow, I got a wall, that's a boss wall, like, you know, a big gable end sticking out somewhere, I can paint that, you know what I mean, and driving around. So then I get home, so I'm not, like I said, you talk about people getting knocked, that's what I do. I see a wall, so I'll just stop my car, and I'll just get out and go and knock on the door, and say, listen, I'm an artist, and I paint walls, would you be interested in having something painted on the side of your wall? And to be honest with you, most people go, yeah, Sam, then I'll take the number. And I sort of, that goes in my back pocket, so as soon as a little project comes up, I say, we need something in this area, we need something in that. I go, I've got something there. I see someone who wants something doing, blah, blah, blah. So it's the same thing what happened on the sanding. A company got in touch with me saying, you know, we want to put a piece of Liverpool artwork somewhere in Liverpool. We're going to be coming, we need to find a wall, blah, blah. I said, I've got a wall. I said, I know exactly where we can do it. I'm like, all around Anfield, I've got about 10 walls, you know what I mean? Because I'm always knocking on doors. And like housing companies and that, I'm ringing them and say, listen, I need walls, and they'll give you them. Because better than that, especially if it's looking a little bit run down, I say, yeah, I'm going to scrape all that. It's going to be brand new for the next 5 years, so you might as well let me do it, you know what I mean? They're getting it for free, they're getting it for nothing, so they're happy.
Makes the area look so cool as well.
100%. When you started though, was it always like that? Was it always like, yeah, no problem, like, or, you know, have you had to knock down a few doors to be, you know, get some nice art up?
No, to be fair, right, and it goes again back to where we grew up and that I didn't grow up in an art background. Because people are always saying like, how are we getting all these walls? I think knocked on the door. I asked them and he said yeah. But they're like going, I'm going to need to go and see the council, I need to go and see this person and that person. I think, no, let's go knock on that person's door. Do you live at your own house? And say, can I paint on your wall? And like I say, most of them go, yeah, that's alright. But if you start trying to go through the Arts Council or through the Liverpool Council or anything like that, one, you might get the wall, but it's going to take you about 6 months. Because they go, yeah, I'll put you in touch with the right person, put the phone down, and you just get stuck to the bottom of a pile somewhere.
And it's like that saying. They say, I used to pray to Father Christmas every year to get me a bike, and he never ever brought me one. So I went and stole one and then begged for God for forgiveness. Better to do and better not to ask. And just do and beg, or better to ask for forgiveness than ask for, I don't know, something like that.
But I think it's, as you say, like where we're from, it is that thing, like you say, why the fuck would I ring or email them? I can literally just go on.
Do it.
But for other people, it's like, well, there's a process and you have to, you can't do that.
You can't just do it.
Watch me.
I didn't know how to do that. Like I said, the first wall I done, it was like a 30-metre wall. And then when you start to meet the artists and they say, oh, and blah blah, and they all start on, you know, spraying the names on places and all that gear, and then work their ways up to wherever they go. And it's, that's my first wall. That was first time I ever used spray paint was on that big 30-metre wall over there. It's still there now as well in Manchester.
Brilliant.
Yeah, better to beg for forgiveness.
Did you listen to anything I said?
I did.
We had a boss conversation then, you know.
It was too weird, I couldn't think of it. Better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like it.
Well, we're in an area as well, the Baltic, where it's everywhere around the Baltic, isn't it?
Yeah. Except, but not only in the past, I don't know, what, 5-6 years. No. Before that, there was nothing here. That's what I mean. But the same thing happened. I went Shoreditch in London and the northern parts of Manchester. The artists come in and it gets a bit trendy, and then the companies come in and go, it's trendy down there. We can get a cup of coffee for £4 down there now. Let's put a business there.
I think that's what I was trying to aim at before. Like, to me, it felt like, you know, as you called it before, like street art or artist. It's all a bit like underground, isn't it? Like, at what point does it become like, you know, these people in suits realising that it's a good thing for a city to have artists and to be able to, you know, paint.
Well, lads, how many videos is just, I know it's football, but even, you know, when Liverpool, for example, won the league and they're showing some of the walls around the city. I mean,
they always do it. Every BT Sport thing before the game is always the murals.
That's our city, and it's making our city look boss.
What about like the sort of what you do? What about like the next gen? Like, do you want to be someone who, like, you know, kids who might be? Do you want to be that? Do you want to be like someone people can look up to?
Workshops and stuff like that, you know, with the kids, and just say to them, because I would be a good example to say, listen, look, I'm the same as you can do it. If you want us to do this as a job, you can. Anybody can, and it doesn't matter whether you're boss at this or that, as long as you're doing the bit that you enjoy. Because there's loads of artists out there now. They're like graphic designers, and they're just painting shapes and stuff on walls, and they're getting good money. Do you know what I mean? And it's not hard to learn. Anybody can learn it. But all it is they enjoy it. They enjoy doing that type of art, and they've just pushed it. They haven't waited for someone to say it's trendy. They just pushed it themselves, and then people go, that's just nice to look at. That's all I mean. And that's all they do now. That's their job. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I should have said the story before, mate, but you've already alluded to it as well. There's a famous like philosopher, like speaker, I forget his name, I love him, and he talks about, you know, doing something that you love, because if you love doing it, you'll get good at it, and then the more you get, you know, the better you get at it, people will want to see it, and then you can then charge a fee for it. Do you know what I mean? So even if it's something you think this isn't a job, I'm just going to get good at it, the best you can be at it, people then go, you know, even if it's saying poetry, if it's writing poetry and you'll get really good at it, people will pay to hear your poetry.
There's a market for absolutely everything. If you collect them bottle tops, somewhere in the world there's a market for it. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people will just sort of disregard it. It's a bit like what you were saying before, when someone in Liverpool or a similar city will be good at drawing, but they think, oh, I'm just good at drawing, I can't make it a job, can I? Do you know what I mean? Rather than, I think the world needs to shift, and that's why obviously people like you can make the impact where you go, well, no, you're good at drawing, you can make a career. Do you know what I mean?
Especially areas like the Heighton Page Moss Bootle where we're from, it's like kids, it'd be great for kids to see those examples, wouldn't it?
Because there's so many kids that can do it in them areas, because, like, I don't know what it is, watching the council water that we have, but there's creative sort of genes running through them sort of areas, do you know what I mean? And like, I know you are very modest with what you do, but to have someone like you, and kids can go, do you know what, I'm not bad at drawing, do you know what I mean? I think that's a really a positive thing for you to do.
It's not just drawing, it is if you're writing songs or you know, some people are fucking good at knitting, do you know what I mean? Might be good at knitting, and these you know, people like Lost Souls,
speak to him, lads,
I want to start making t-shirts now. Look at him now. He's a legitimate brand, do you know what I mean?
Belter lad, yeah. Our sponsors, Montrec, not just saying this because they're the sponsors, but I was on them for them for months beforehand, and I was like, their brand would suit perfect with our pod, and we reached out and we had a meeting and stuff, and just boss lads, young lads.
Yeah, because I know a couple of people who know them, they're just the boys, do you know what I mean? They're just lads who thought we'll have a go. And now you can't turn around without seeing it.
When you look at the city...
I swear, lad, I went to Snowdon the other day. I'm sure Mount Snowdon sponsored by Montrex, lad. The Welsh Council of
When you look at the city, though, all the people now who are coming sort of through, or people starting legitimate, big-scale businesses, are what they're just the lads, do you know, or the, you know, even
bossing
women,
that, though.
It's not this thing that's out of reach anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we can all do.
We've all just realised that it doesn't matter what your graft is, graft's still graft. All you've still got to do is find what people want and give it to them. And if people are wanting fashion, or people are wanting art, or people are wanting music, if you know how to get it to them, then you can do it.
Love that, lad. What you've done, I say my mate, I've met him once, like, but I'm going to hold on to it. Tyson Fury, lad.
Big Tyson.
Yeah.
So you know Christian?
Yeah, I know Christian.
Yeah. So that's how I used to train with Christian. And obviously then he started training Tyson Fury. And Christian rings me one day and he goes, right lad, what are you doing on Tuesday? And I was like, no, nothing, lad. He went, do you want to come and do a gym session? And I was like, why, what's going on? He went, well, going to train with Tyson Fury if you want to come. Yeah, lad, I'll be there, lad, yeah.
Fit your gloves and all that.
Yeah, I went and had a gym session with Tyson. Nice fella, isn't he?
Yeah, he's exactly the way you think he's going to be. That's how he is.
Yeah, so funny. I was doing like lunges with him, and he's doing lunges. It was on his comeback trail when he was massive, and I think he'd had one fight, and I'm doing like lunges with me one leg, and he's there next to me, like, and then I was just a mad couple of hours just with him, just thinking, you're a fucking hard bastard, and I'm just this lad with one leg next to you. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you've done his gym.
I've done his gym, yeah. So that was like I said, I've done Christian's gym first, and that was how he's seen what I've done in Christian's gym. So I was working back down here in Liverpool, and I got a phone call. It was Tyson saying he's opening his own gym, and can you do it? He's saying, but I need to do it in the next like 3 days though. And I was up in the Golden Gloves up in Sochi there, and I had to turn around to Wayne in the Golden Gloves and say, Wayne, I just had a call of Tyson Fury, right? And he's saying he needs a job doing. Do you mind if I just knock yours on the head until I get back? And he went, no. So I'll do the same to you, go on that. So I just went home, jumped in my car and fucked off up to Morecambe and done the job for him. And like I said, you know what, I'd done that job. But like I said, because I was so much of a rush, I bam, threw it on, packed all my car up, nice, half this Tyson, nice one mate. Jumped in my car, drove home, and went, I never took a picture. I just painted it, didn't take a picture of the wall or nothing. Drove all the way home, had to message Tyson, you don't mind? Will you send me a picture of the wall? Whatever pictures you've got? And they went, yes, so you sent me some pictures over.
The fact you can turn it around like that quick, do you know what I mean? It's
like,
what?
So,
yeah, 2 days.
And it's like, and you put something that sort of good, it's so quick, do you know what I mean? I bet people look at that and go, oh, but that's all months. Yeah. You're like, yeah,
the planning alone would have took a week. You know.
I know, yeah, I just jumped in there. All those kids now, those kids are hilarious, I was laughing my head off. They're coming in, it's amazing. There's a princess and there's a little lad walked up and said, but my dad, when my dad punched his ears in, why is there no blood coming out of his ears? I'm laughing.
So is it in his personal gym then, is it, yeah?
It's in his own gym, yeah, up in Morecambe, yeah.
Wow. That's mad, you know what?
That's got to be a pinch, like...
I was going to say,
like Tyson Fury, obviously, not just him, but, you know, for people like that, because that's a personal point in his life, like probably the biggest achievements of his boxing career, and he's sort of looking to you to bring it to life, you know what I mean, yeah?
I was made up with it, like, so I was... And he was saying at the time for the Wilder fight. This was before it fell through. It's obviously back on now.
Yeah.
But he was saying that this is not his next fight's Wilder. He's got to fight Wilder, and then it all fell through. And I thought, oh, you twat. And then I was back on. You know, waiting for the cameras to get down there.
Well, yeah, it should all ramp up a bit now, lad. Yeah.
But it's crossing all sports now. Then obviously, because like obviously at home Liverpool, and you're painting them all, but you got sort of, you know, you're painting that for Fury. You sort of expanding to a point where, you know, it could go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've always grown up in a boxing family. We always liked boxing. Football sort of our second sport for most of us anyway. For me it wasn't, for me brother and stuff. But so that for me at that time was like I was doing a lot of boxing gyms anyway. So like I said, when I started off, I went and asked to all the boxing gyms and said, yeah, here's me work, blah blah blah, can you do any of this for you? And I always say to any of the amateur gyms, you all get it half bat. Because to be an amateur boxing coach, you've got to dedicate your life, and they're not raking it in, do you know what I mean? No. And they're proper dedicating enough the whole life just to bring in these kids up properly and showing them how to be men, do you know what I mean? So I said, listen, any ABCs, I do use half bat. I said, I still come home with a decent wage, but you get the good little feeling that, you know,
helped.
I didn't, well, not that you but I didn't try and fucking squeeze them there, do you know what I mean? And it means they can afford to have a nice piece of art in the gym.
Yeah.
You need to get in the rotunda, lad, you haven't got nothing there.
I know, they haven't been on me.
I'll get on them, lads.
I painted the rest, every other gym in Liverpool.
Mikey Arbo, lad, get on him.
No, but it's good that, like, because obviously going sort of back, we've said this multiple times in the podcast, but where we're from, like, you know, boxing gyms which do save so many people's lives, and then you put something in there which, like, you know, it brings it to life, so to speak. I know the gym's full of life,
isn't it?
But like, you don't know who's going to look at that, or you know who's going to go through and sort of look at your artwork.
The kids, when they go in there, they could be on the wall one day, do you know what I mean? Depending on how they live and how they do.
Well, you go in that rotunda and you've got pictures all the way around of, you know, Callum, Liam, Beefy, Paul, you know, Tasha, Tony Bellew. So again, having something what you can produce is just that, but times 100, isn't it? You know, something. Love it, mate. What has Stevie seen as your what work yet then?
Yeah. He messaged me.
Oh fuck!
He messaged me.
I want to learn how to draw just for that.
Just for Stevie, just to see that in it, that notification.
Yeah, so he messaged me and said, "Oh, thanks for that, lad." Said I'm gonna come down and see you as soon as I've got time. So I was made up. I was fucking dying to like screenshot it and post it. I thought, no, I can't do that. But
They're just showing you misses.
I screenshotted it. He puts like, no, the clapping hands in the comments for, I'll fucking screenshot that. That's out in the open. I screenshotted that and put that on my thing. And I think in one day, I got like 4,000 new followers on my Instagram.
Just from him doing that?
Just from Steve. Because he posted it on his page as well, do you know what I mean?
Did you know what I think so impressive about that? And like, I'd love to get your view on this. Like, do you feel pressure in terms of, you know, you're putting Steven Gerrard, who is
Mr. Liverpool,
for at least 50% of the city, probably now the dust has settled, 70-80% of the city, he's fucking icon, do you know what I mean? And you're putting his face on a wall.
You fucked this up,
that for want of a better phrase, though, it is like that.
You definitely do feel the pressure. You do feel like everyone does after the fucking their little sound, especially the Evertonians are walking past and that as well. Looking at it like them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I'm halfway through it. Do you stand up halfway through the haircut and go, fucking shit that, mate? No, you don't. Just let me finish it, do you know what I mean? And then you'll see. And if it's still shit, alright, I'll go home. Rub it out.
A bigger razor.
Well, yeah, you do, and you always get that, yeah. You know the people who think they're funny.
Yeah.
And they're not funny, they just say everything's shit.
Yeah.
You get that a lot.
That's the first thing, like, sort of, when I looked sort of through your Instagram and I did think that, and I was going to mention about the Fury thing, like, if someone like that invites you down, is there a feeling of, right, fuck me, I've got to get this right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, I think so, yeah, but...
Guess it's confidence in what you do, right?
I remember when I went down to Fury's, I didn't expect him to be there. I thought like someone from the...
Oh, he wasn't there watching you all the way, was he?
No, he was there. It was him doing their own gym up, do you know what I mean? But I thought he's going to have like a team of people.
Yeah,
you know, like I'd imagine Joshua, if I went to do a job for Joshua, I reckon they'd just be like 6 fellas in suits or something.
Yeah, just watching you.
But no, I got there and it was just Tyson sitting there with Paris and saying, oh yeah, we want something here, blah blah blah, and I came up with this design for them. Just on the spot, just Googled some images and I reckon this one look boss on the wall. And he went, yes, sounds so good. So I've done that, and yeah, and he was just in and out because he was obviously doing his own gym, so he was in and out. I said to him, I never brought like a ladder down or nothing. And I said to him, you can't get me a ladder, can you? Yeah, I'll get you a ladder. Obviously again thinking he's going to ring someone, so he drop a ladder off at the gym. So, but he never just shot out, jumped in his car, drove home, and came back with a ladder that had a big sticker on it saying, Tyson's ladder, do not touch.
That out of his own shed.
I was thinking, for a start, no one's touching Tyson's ladder anyway, you know what I mean? I'm not even asked about losing a ladder.
Oh mate, that's a story that you could take wherever you go in the world.
Don't touch Tyson's ladder.
when I did Tyson, he had a sticker on his ladder.
Oh, it's amazing.
But doing what you're doing though, you are gonna, I guess, build up this like back catalogue of like the best stories ever. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
Lad, you've black-hatted all of my stories.
My Gerard messaged this. I went to Fury's here. This is it.
I'm like, oh yeah, I trained him once. You're like, lad, he brought me a ladder. Got me a ladder back.
Yeah. You had to got me ladder so I could do some work.
Yeah. Where do you want to go with it in terms of like, you know, the what do you feel like the future is of it?
In the future for me, I want to, like I said, I want to be living off my own work instead of painting gyms. And like I said, I've always thought, where I am now, I'm happy, do you know what I mean? If I don't get no further than where I am now, sound. I'll do this for the rest of my life, no problem. I go to work and do a job that I enjoy. Not many people do that.
No, they don't.
But it's still a job. So it's not what I want. What I want is to be producing my own art and selling my own art. Well, not gyms and not for anybody with no brief. I don't want somebody to give me a brief and then I can produce something off that brief, which is what I'm doing now. I want to just go into a room, produce what I want to produce, and even if it's 10 loads of shit and I find something that I like, then I've got something I like, then I can, I can produce that. But you need to have enough money to live off to produce 10 pieces of shit. Do you know what I mean? And I can't at the minute. I can't produce 10 pieces of shit. And they keep saying to me, "Beard, something's gonna come along. I swear to God, I've got a feeling." You know what I mean? I've got to live.
Still got a graft in the background. Yeah. So what a company go to you? Right, lads. There's a wall. Just do whatever you want on it. Go.
Yeah. No. So the way I see it happen is more. I say I work for another 4 years. Bam, bam, bam. I'm earning good money now, so I stick a load of money away, and then I can take 2 years off. Just producing my own art, go and find my own walls, paint my own walls, produce my own canvases, produce my own prints, until the prints and the canvases start paying me wages, then I can start petering off on the commission things. And then once you've been doing your own walls and you're doing your own canvases and stuff, that's when the companies will start saying, we want a piece of John Culshaw art on this wall. How much is it going to be? And I'll go,
yeah. I'll tell you.
So what you said.
That's where I want to get to there.
So if anyone wants to get you now, lad, you need to get your in quick,
get in quick, lad. Yeah.
It's brilliant though that you've got sort of a vision, because as a story it'd be quite great, right? Like from, you know, someone who just liked drawing, then did, you know, liked footy, so starts doing all these murals and stuff, to the point where people are asking for your art. You know what I mean? It'd be really, the city's got loads and loads of stories, but that'll be a very cool one.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I want. That's what I can see in my future. But like I said, I'm gonna keep aiming for it. If I never get there, I'll just be fucking happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll just live my life the rest of my life happy, doing something I enjoy. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for me.
Lad, you got an infectious personality as well. I feel like you've been smiling a lot, lad.
I think it sort of, we said this in the last podcast as well, the self-depreciating thing I think works in your favour. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you're very talented, you know, we say that with confidence, but sort of you don't really play up to the, I'm a fucking bot artist, do you know what I mean? You're sort of like, I'm quite good, but then what you produce is so good, do you know what I mean? But I think that probably works in your favour, to the point where...
I think it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning, where you always need that in your mind. You always need to be pushing it. You always need to be thinking, I can learn more here, I can do more. Like I said, as soon as I stop thinking that, then I'll fuck the art off, I'll go and do something else, because you can't know, no one can know it all. You can't know everything. No. So as soon as you think that you've stopped learning, then you've just gone stale and it's time to find something new then.
Do you get the same buzz from seeing a piece of what you create from what you did at the start?
Yeah. Yeah, I do still always, when I'm going past any of the walls I've always painted, I always have little nose, you know what I mean? Or if the kids in the car, I painted that, you know, kids. You know what I mean? I done that. It's like that.
Yeah, not asked that.
Yeah. It's not even that good.
What are we on to see? Yeah, when we go to Mackey's.
I think, going back to what we were saying, where you, like, throughout your life, where, like, being a kid probably helped you a lot. It is, say, what you're designing now, you're saying, do you know what? I made that, and the kids are like, so what? What are you doing next?
That's a great, I think, as talented as we always say, that how much talent comes from this city. I think it's a very humbling city as well, isn't it? I don't think this city would let you get too big for your boots anyway, but you look at some of the amazing footballers, boxers, artists, music, they've never got like this cocky, I want to be the best thing in the world, I want to be, it's like just this quiet confidence of going, you know what, lads, I'll keep on grafting and I'll have a go and keep learning, and you know.
It's more of fucking, we'll come and see then, find out for yourself, don't you? Especially with our fighters, with our boxers and stuff, They don't. I know that you have to sell fights, but boxers don't do it. It's just you think you can, then come and see. Come and find out if you can. And we'll see.
I always say about Callum Smith, he's personally my favourite boxer, and I just love how he's been. It frustrates me. It doesn't frustrate me because he's obviously he is doing well, but I think like, you get to see some of the boxers and they're gobbing off and that, and Callum's just went about his business and just fucking nailed everyone.
Callum is though, he's had the confidence as well, because he'd have had people in his ear going, do this Callum, or go on Good Morning Britain, or go, and he's just like, no, I don't need to do it.
He's just all it is he's the same as me. He's not greedy. He's thinking he's fucking eating. He must have made a nice few quid for himself. He ain't never going to be poor, but he doesn't need that. I wouldn't like the fame, do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't need that out on the private jet. You don't need that Anthony Joshua lifestyle where there's loads of people around you talking and just feeding into your little ego, and then one slip down, you'll go, see you later, mate.
But I'll keep that 10%.
His mates are his real mates.
Well, that's it. You find that if Callum, if he does lose again or whatever, he's only been beat by Canelo, but it's like, he's not got this, everyone are no, because he's not built himself up to be that, has he?
Do you know what I think the great thing is as well? Like, for example, when you're doing well as a scouser, the thing is, like, you can't ever get too big for your boots, because the minute you step back into your friendship group, if you try to do that, you get pulled back down to it so fucking fast. Do you know what I mean?
Even I think with this podcast, and I no disrespect to any other podcast, I've not even got any in mind, but some podcasts like, right, we're going to be the biggest ever, biggest this, biggest that, and great.
Big media machine.
I'm like, you know what? For this podcast, like I love it. I would, even if no one was listening, I'd still do it. Only for the fact that if I rang you up and said, hey John, will you come and speak to us? And you were like, no, there's no cameras, no nothing, I just want to sit with you for an hour with me mate. You'd be like, you're fucking weirdo. The fact that we called it a podcast and we recorded so other people can enjoy it, great. Yeah. But I would do it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's that thing where you just think, right, I want to do something and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to see where it goes. And if it goes nowhere, I'm back to being a happy person. You know what I mean? I was already happy. I weren't like, there weren't something in my life that I was looking for and I was searching for. I just found something that I enjoy. Unfortunately, I want to see where this takes me. And it's taking me far at the minute, you know what I mean? It's going well. I'm happy.
Honest to God, it's going to take you far, because like, I don't want to say like preach on you, but as he said before, you do have an infectious personality, and you do have this thing where like you're probably your biggest critic, where everyone else is like, fuck me.
Oh, he's a beast, this kid,
And I think that's going to work in your favour so much, like going forward. But just excited to see where it takes me. Like, obviously we've had this hour and a bit of whatever it has been talking, but I'm biggest fan now.
Now, one last thing as well, as we come to the end, is there any particular person you'd want to, obviously you've done Fury, now you've done Gerrard, is there anyone, obviously Klopp?
No, do you know what? I love movies, so like I said, when I said to go down to these paint jams, I always paint movie scenes. I always love the baddies, so I love painting the baddies out the films, do you know what I mean? So that's what I always do, but that's more, it's like fan art, do you know what I mean? It's the same what I do with the Klopp and the Gerrards and things like that. It's just fan art, it's just, I like this person, I like art, and it's just putting them together and just doing something. But it's more just fun, rather than trying to make it like a business, like I was saying about being an artist. That's more just fun, more just if you're ever, even like I say, even when I'm an artist, I'll still be doing that stuff. That's going to be like my fucking spare time, going to these paint jams, and you know, if someone's got a week spare and I want to go and paint, I'll do that, do you know what I mean?
And after this, you're going to be getting people going, lad, I've got a gable house there, lad, you come and paint for me.
I'm thinking about that, shit. I just should love Spider as well, I don't want
if I lived on an end terrace, lad, you'd be on the court, lad.
My house would be the men's of me bit. Genie Wijnaldum on the side of ours.
We got on footy, sorry, we got one message saying here, when's the Rafa mural coming?
The Rafa mural. As soon as Everton pay, yes, get on me.
Tell you what, mate, that can't be far off. They've started alright, haven't they?
Well, I've done the park, but we've done the back of the park pub for them, and they had a load of windows that they wanted doing, you know, each, I don't know from them, each different window. I gave them a price, and it's just, you know, perspective. So I'm looking down going, windows are about this big, so I'll get a board, I'll paint the boards in my house, and I'll bring the boards and I'll put them up. So just to make sure, I'll go and measure the windows. The windows are like fucking 8 foot high, and by like 4 foot wide. They were massive, these windows. But I thought they were little tiny windows, so I don't want to give them the price of these tiny little windows. I'm messing. But yeah, I put Rafa on there, so everyone keeps saying to me, what's going to happen with that Rafa then? He won the Champions League with us, didn't he? So he can stay.
Mate, how many locations have you done around the city then, do you think?
Loads, I don't know. Including like bars and gyms and stuff. I don't know, 100.
100?
Yeah, loads.
Give us just a quick little, for when people are listening, maybe they're out and about in town. Give some of your maybe favourites.
Yeah, well done. The Only Fools bar for the lads down there.
Really, yeah?
Lads there, and I done next door the NC bar. I done behind, done 54. I done their garden for them. The Sketch bar over on London Road. Done that.
Mate, you must not be able to have a pint anyway. I'm back at work.
I can't pay for the pint anyway.
I was going to say, your bird's like, where should we go for a drink?
What do you mean, $5.50
That bottle of wine, I would be taking my bird all these places, lad, and getting free drinks.
Oh, it's so good, and I think, have you got, obviously, I know you want to go into sort of selling your art in the future, but have you got plans to take the murals further than like Liverpool, like, you know?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, before you mention, you know where's massive for it, lads, and there's a big political, there's a boss history kind of lesson in it all, is Colombia. Colombia had like mural wars going on, and like then the council, like the government got involved, and then they were like destroying walls that have murals because there were political meanings, then gang meanings. There's some of the there's like mural tours in the city. It's unbelievable.
The whole of South America is massive for it. So like I said, we mate from Brazil. You want to see how many artists there is in Brazil? Boss artists. The scene over there is massive. But yeah, the whole of South America. So I was on holiday in Mexico, and I got in touch with one. They had like a big arts festival over there, and I went on when I was there. But I just got in touch with them. Listen, I'm going to be in Mexico next week. Do you reckon you can find me a wall? And he just got back and went, yeah, fucking sound. Send me a message. And so I sent him a message and I got there. And he just took me into this little village. And I went, yeah, there's a wall. Can I go and paint something? So I just bought some paint and painted over there as well. That's just another little experience for me, do you know what I mean?
On there, that, like, for example, just to give context, what would you paint on, like, in the middle of Mexico? Gerard, like.
I painted a jaguar. So they have all jaguars and a coatie, like a little raccoon sort of thing they have over there. So like Mexican animals, but I painted them all in negative because I had to go and find some paint and you can't find the right paint, but they had a lot like blues and stuff. So I flipped the image on into negative and painted it all in blues. So when I take a picture of it, I flip my phone into negative and all the sky goes black and all the leaves go, and everything looks weird and like my skin goes all blue and that. But the image looks like a jaguar, looks normal, looks boss, you know what I mean? But so that is, I had a little go with that. That was about 2 years ago or something.
It's fucking cool.
That you've got a wall in Mexico that you've done.
So, and then when I posted, I told everyone it was part of the thing as well. I organised that myself.
Never
I've been through to Mexico to paint on this wall.
First class with boss.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, lads.
But do you have plans, obviously, to expand in that sense?
Yeah, definitely. So every year they have art festivals all over the world. They've got some good ones in England. You know, it's like Upfest and down in Bristol and places like that. Boss ones. But you can go to like these places called like Meeting of Styles, and that's just art festivals all over the world. So they'll have one in Brazil, they'll have one in Germany, they'll have one here, they'll have one everywhere. So you can apply to them and they say, oh, we've got a space for you then. So my mate's going over to Russia next week to do one over there, do you know what I mean? And it's like
quality.
But I haven't applied for anything this year because I've been so busy. And like I said, I've that 1 week a month thing hasn't happened, you know what I mean? So next year, I'm definitely going to be applying for all these things, see where I can go, see where I can get tucked, go and paint.
Mate, I've just got in my mind, like a, you know, that, like, not that you have, but the Adidas abroad thing, it's like a scouser abroad, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just with your paint and your brain. And
well, I was thinking that, like, it's that vulnerability, isn't it? In the sense that, like, you're treading this path for the first time. You don't know anyone who's done it. So
I don't know. Yes, when I got into it, I didn't know anybody in that world or nothing.
Wait, the like the potential for you to become like sort of idol might not be the right word, but you know, like an inspiration to kids who like would never have even thought it would be possible. Like I know you are a very sort of, you know, humble person. That is exciting though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and if I am, I've been made up. Do you know what I mean? I've been made up. And if I'm not, then...
Is there anyone you do sort of like look up to in terms of your art and your, like, or is it just, have you just sort of ran with it?
North round with this. So, like I said, I'm always looking on the Instagram and on the internet and things like that and finding new. But it's changing all the time. I'm always finding new people. Like I said, I haven't been into it that long, so I'm always seeing new people. And these boss artists in our city, like Danny O'Connor. He doesn't do too many murals. He does some, but his artwork's fantastic. His artwork's amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe we had John Charles. You give us that.
Yeah. See, so John Charles, he started about the same time as I did, right?
Really? Yeah.
Going to this AAA sports memorabilia place that they were opening up, and it's one of my mates' brothers from who was opening it up. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, this time I hadn't done any murals anywhere. I'd done that one in Manchester, and I started doing some kids' bedrooms. And I said to him, yeah, I'll do something for you. So I painted Muhammad Ali on a canvas for him. I was skipping down like that, all proud of myself with this canvas. And that John Charles was in there the same time. He went there, but he'd sent some canvases down. And I got there, and he'd sent like fucking 10. Or so. And I'd skip down with me one, like a little fucking skipping me step. Or he skipped to me canvas. And they had his things all around. Like, I looked at we're going to put this down.
John, you fucking ally.
That was like, it's the same time. Boss. So, and they were saying he's another artist coming through in the city.
Brilliant, yeah.
Who had a good story in that. So he's grew loads as well. He's come on a lot.
He had an exhibition last week, actually. Yeah. Mate, it's exciting times, mate.
It's brilliant that for, like, you know, as we say, just another string to the city, really, innit? Do you know what I mean? And like having all like artists like yourself and John just coming through. Do you know what I mean? You just don't know where it can go. Yeah. And that's the exciting part.
As soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna fucking order him a mural somewhere in the city.
I'm gonna spend about £5 getting Spider-Man all over Arsenal.
Hurry up, get fucking Sophia, come on. His price is gonna go up next year. Yeah. Pick what you want now, come on.
I'm like Frozen, Dad. Well, it's Spider-Man.
What do you want next year?
Mate, anything else you want to plug? What's your Instagram and stuff?
Oh, my Instagram's John_Culshaw 86. And I have Twitter and Facebook and that, but I don't know what they are.
Insta's the one.
Yeah. All my work comes through Instagram and that, yeah.
Anything else you want to plug or touch on, mate?
I don't think so, no. I'm good.
Brilliant, mate. Honestly, I've really enjoyed this.
It's been alright, mate. Your first pod as well, you said. Can't believe.
Yeah, I've done nothing like this before, no.
Hopefully it's been alright for you, mate.
Yeah, that's been boss, yeah.
John, mate, thanks for your time, mate. Genuinely, mate, love how humble you are, love how talented you are, and I'm genuinely excited, mate, to see how far you're going to go. Nice one for listening, everyone. It's your support is massive, much appreciated. Keep following, supporting. Don't forget 15% off Montrex if you go to the website, bang it in the checkout. I'll see you next time.